Well, here we go. I heard this truck is due for an oil change, and it's at 250,000 miles finally. As you can see, it's in its natural habitat here. So, where are we at? Oh, almost. 249,598. Oh well, it's close enough. We'll do the oil change, and we'll just do a 250,000 mile review on this truck. Talk about it, pros and cons, where it's at right now, what it's primarily used for. You guys know this truck. For new subscribers, I'll give you the background of what this thing's primarily used for.
Is there any such thing as absolute free will? You better believe.
Got the flutter and fuel gauge there. That comes standard on the 98 Silverados. This is much steeper than it looks. There we go. We'll shift out. One of the things I love most about this truck is how maintenance-free and reliable the four-wheel drive system is. There are no locking hubs, there are no vacuum-actuated hubs. Oh my word, what a nightmare those are. There's just nothing that goes wrong with the four-wheel drive system on this truck. I mean, everything is rock-solid reliable. You've got constant velocity joints. You don't have to worry about U-joints up in the front. Everything just works. It doesn't have any delayed engagement. This truck has never ever had an issue shifting. It always shifts immediately. Never have any delayed engagements on this. So I love the four-wheel drive system on this vehicle. As you can hear, we've got a little bit of an exhaust leak and a belt squeak there coming from under the hood somewhere. So that's a 5.7 liter Vortec engine. And this thing has been great. I say that with one condition. We don't know exactly what's going on with this truck, but for some reason, under heavy acceleration or when towing a trailer, the engine has started to misfire. We replaced everything on the ignition side of the vehicle, and we're still getting a misfire. I don't know exactly where it's coming from. That's all we've done so far is replace everything on the ignition side of the vehicle. Other than that, the powertrain side of this truck has been solid. There's no problems with it. Paint and clear coat are showing their age. As you can see, the paint's starting to come off here. Clear coat's really seen better days. Clear coat there as well. The biggest problem with the bodies of these trucks is the rust here on the cab quarters. This is where these trucks usually rust a lot. You can see we've got it even more so on the driver's side here. A lot of rust there. The interior is held up pretty well. You can see the foam is starting to collapse on the seat here, but the cover is just now barely starting to tear. The interior of the vehicle does have a water leak somewhere. We don't know where, but water puddles up here after a rain. Everything else works. We had to replace the AC compressor on this truck to fix the air conditioning, and the radiator does have a hairline crack in it. There you go. And that is causing a very slight coolant leak if the coolant is topped off, so we'll have to replace the radiator here. Other than that, this vehicle has not had any problems on the interior. Even the headliner is still kind of staying up there. It's starting to fall a little bit, so you can see it's coming apart here some. The speakers are blown out. They definitely need to be replaced, but power windows, locks, power mirrors, and all that good stuff still works. Never had a problem with any of that. Did have to replace the wiper motor at one point. It burnt out. Put a new motor in there. As you can see, easy to get to, piece of cake job. And one thing I will say is not due to the truck's fault, but due to somebody putting power steering fluid in the brake fluid reservoir. All the brake components had to be replaced because it destroyed all the seals. So all the brake components on this truck is new. That being said, this truck still has very weak braking for a pickup truck that's capable of towing some heavy trailers. If you do tow trailers, I strongly encourage you to use a trailer that has trailer brakes and put a trailer brake control module in this truck like we did. The brakes are just not very strong at all on this truck, and a trailer brake controller is an absolute must. As I said earlier, a new AC compressor. The alternator was recently replaced as well. The beauty about all this stuff is how easy it is to work on, how easy it is to service. The truck has had 3 sets of engine oil cooler lines. They love to leak a lot on this thing. It's probably getting ready to be due for its next set here. The transmission is the original transmission. Kept the fluid changed every 100,000 miles. As you can see, the coolant reservoir is empty because there is a hairline crack on this radiator. You can't see it. If the radiator is filled above a certain point, it will actually start to leak. Then once it gets below that point, the engine still cools. Doesn't leak out enough coolant to cause the engine to overheat, so one of these days we're going to do a radiator. The intake manifold gaskets were replaced and all that good stuff was done, along with a water pump. As I said earlier, we have an exhaust leak on the truck, and I'm pretty sure it's at that manifold there. I don't know why. That's more like it. I don't know why GM only put one rear door on the passenger side of the truck. I'm sure there's a reason for it out there. I just don't understand it. Let's take a look underneath the truck here. So you can see oil cooler lines are a little wet, but not too bad. Power steering gearbox is a little wet, but again, not dripping. There are not any leaks under this truck that have gotten to the point of dripping yet, and that's pretty good. I haven't even done ball joints on this thing yet. That's amazing. And the reason for that is they actually have grease fittings on them, so you can actually take care of the ball joints on this vehicle. Unlike a lot of trucks out there where they have sealed ball joints with no grease fittings. Now, we did have the fuel pump go out on this truck, as a lot of GM trucks have problems with. We put a new fuel pump in this truck. It's been fine ever since. The oil pan is a little wet. Not bad. Transmission's completely dry. Let's talk about one thing that's going to fail a lot on these trucks, and that's these door handles are going to break unless you use them very easily. The reason being is simply because of the way they were designed. You grab them and then you pull like this, and then you also shove your arm against the door to open it, and in doing so you pull the handle harder, and if you're getting out in a hurry, this handle has broken twice now, and the driver's side is broken once, so these door handles will break. Keep that in mind. Let's look at the radio here. CD player and the tape player still work, but as you can see, lots of buttons missing and buttons cracked, broken, about to fall off. That's kind of typical with these radios. Again, it's just the way it was designed. Overall, I really do love this truck. It's been a great workhorse. It's served my dad really well. Like I said, almost 250,000 miles on it, and he has definitely gotten every penny's worth out of this truck that he put into it when he bought it. Maintenance and repairs have been minimal. Oil changes are simple, 5 quarts of oil and a spin-on filter. Cheap to maintain, cheap to repair, and did I mention easy to repair? Everything on this truck is just simple to work on. Parts are everywhere, parts are cheap. These are great trucks. If you don't mind some cosmetic rust, you can get some of these trucks in excellent mechanical condition for a really good bargain. I definitely recommend it. Again, check engine light on is due to the Misfire code under heavy acceleration or when towing trailers. We still haven't figured out what exactly is going on there, but outside of that, the truck still runs great and does what it needs to do for taking care of the business, moving things around a little bit here and there, and it just does a bunch of short trips, and for that matter, it works great. So there you go, guys, an almost 250,000 mile review on this 1998 Silverado 5.7. There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know you guys like this truck. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.